What's up, y'all? Y'all there? I'm back. I'm back with another one. Let me get set up here real quick. They done turned me, shut me down, and done shut the whole operation down. Came in like a task force. They done gave me a strike. I'll take the hit. Man, we back? Man. Yeah, good. Man, they shut me down. Yeah. There's like, no, you can't see, you can't watch that. They took the whole video down, gave me a little restriction. You know what I mean? But I'll take that one for us. Fuck it. You know what I mean? I love boxing, and if I'm got a boxing channel, but I can't show they videos and shit. That'd be some bullshit, right? It'd be better when you could watch the fight. But them they was like, Man, it didn't take them long to shut that down, huh? I'm gonna wait to see if a couple of y'all can join right back on the live stream. Yo, but I thought I didn't put it monetized. Like I didn't put it for money. I put it up to show free. Like I wasn't gonna make a dime off of showing you guys the video. Even though I don't make fucking 15 cent a quarter and shit, $1.25. How long did I stream for that? It was only 6 rounds, right? Well, that could have been you know. Wow, I wonder if they sending out my live stream now, notifications. Damn, they probably punished me too. Yo, what's up? Matt Howard. Naoya has got to be class of what? I gotta see the rest of your text when it moves up. It, for pound number one. Look, that right there is going to be an opinion, and the argument is that he's not in a bigger weight division. And what they're saying is that um these guys are actually fighting bigger guys in the glamour divisions, the 130, the 135s, 140, 147, 154, shit like that. And since he's like at 122 pounds, ironically, there's been men that been that small before and was on the pound for pound list, right? But they're saying that his competition, they're not saying that his competition is that of anybody else, which is ridiculous, right? Because at the end of the day, you can only be held for who's in your weight division. It's not my fault Terrence Crawford doesn't fight at his weight. That's not his fault. Everybody that is in fact in his weight, he's beaten, and like they want him to be like a robot. They wanted him to like if he has four weight division, what they're saying is you should have cleaned out every weight division on your way up here. You had to fight the number one, two, three guy, then secure all the belts, then move up. That's what they're saying to him. when he was only able to do that in like one weight division where he got all the belts, beat all the number one guys at like 118, right? Uh, they're saying, "Oh, you only did it there." Like that wasn't shit. Like this guy got years and years and years just to dedicate to one division to make sure he cleans that division all out. When he got his belt at 115, he defended it 7 times. And still they say that he didn't fight the other champions. Well, were you in that room with them? So you were in the room with the negotiations, and you know that. How about if those other guys really didn't want to fight him? They might be saying they wanted to fight him, but when they send the contract, they weren't signing it. You know. So he moves up, he does his thing, and now they're saying they want to see him in America. They want to see him come to America in a fight in America. Well, he could fight in America. He could fight in Japan. He could fight on the moon. The guys in his division are still going to be the guys in his division. It's not like you come to America and his division automatically changes into all American fighters. How the fuck are you going to change that? The guys in his division are still going to be the guys in his division. He'll just be fighting in America. So if he fights these guys in America, according to them, I guess now that makes him better. That he fought the same guy he could have fought in Japan, probably for more money. You see, sometimes when people say things, it almost sounds like they said something, almost, until you think about it. You see? Let me answer some of your questions. I see that you're typing here. You like my show? Thank you. Thank you. I hope you subscribe and please give me a like. Well, look, here's the thing with that, right? When you say his style is very impressive, and I agree with you. I agree with you that from an eye test, right, the way he moves is truly at the top level. He has a good waist. He has good waist movement. He has good evading ability. His defense is not too shabby, not the best, but it's up there. And his footwork and positioning is out of this world. His distant management in between punches and the right distance to throw the punch is phenomenal. So when you're saying like that from an eye test, I would agree with you that he looks like the best fighter of our generation, of our time right now. But when you understand fighting and you understand the ins and outs about a fighter, you soon start to realize that elite fighters don't have to look the same. You don't have to look like Naoya Inoue to be an elite fighter such as him. That's why they say styles make fight. You might have a different style, but make no mistake, Terrence Crawford's style is that of an elite fighter. He doesn't look like Naoya anyway. He doesn't move like him, but they're right there, side by side for a reason. It's the unique things that they can do inside the ring. I gotta admit, I like Naoya Inoue's style, the way he carries himself, the way he moves. And for me, there's no one doing it better in that way. But there are men out there that can beat him. Yes. And it almost happened Monday morning when Luis Pantera Nares, with his wild style, almost shocked the world. You see? And a lot of people going into that fight would have never thought that was going to happen. A lot of people didn't even give him a chance. Styles make fights. And some styles are going to give him trouble. Why? Because he was so wild. He wasn't dancing the dance the way it's supposed to go. And he couldn't catch a beat on him. And he couldn't read what his next move was. If he was boxing Naoya Inoue, he would have been in trouble. Because if you want to box a man like this, he's a superior boxer. You see? So that's why fighters continue to fight each other as they move up through the rankings. What the world is asking, the boxing world, what style reigns supreme? Do you have a style that can beat any style? And that is when you become the number one pound for pound fighter in the world. You can make reads, adjustments. And if you have to, you can actually change into the person in front of you. How good are you? Are you a master at all styles? Or do you just have one? That's what separates him from most boxers, his ability to adapt. In fact, he knew how to adapt and how to survive and how to win so good that it came and helped him in the fight against Luis Pantera Nares when a lot of the world believed, oh, he's done. Not this kind of fighter, not this guy. And I knew it. When I saw him let him off the hook, I said to myself, that was a mistake. You needed to empty the gas tank and jump on him. And I believe even in a few years, 10 years from now, I'll go back and relive it, that fight. And I know my decision would have stayed the same. Luis Pantera Nares' entire game plan was to land that hook. You achieved that. There was your moment. He needed to recognize that he needed to close the show. He needed to recognize that you couldn't let this man off the hook. Right there in that moment, he needed to jump on him. And I wouldn't have gave him another opportunity. The elite fighters, I already know. If you hit him with that shot once, good luck, because I don't think you're going to land it again. And how many times were you going to have this kind of guy in trouble? Did he really think it was going to be like he was like all the rest? All the other guys, once I hit him, I got him down hard. Once I know I could drop him, if I did it once, I could do it again. Nah, this wasn't that type of fighter. I'd have jumped on him like a spider monkey. And that was it. My fight would have been right there. That was my moment. That was my time. Yeah, and I think that he let the moment pass by. And then right in that moment when I saw Naoya Inoue make it back to his corner, I said it. I got receipts. I said, you guys want to see what a superior fighter looks like and why you don't let a guy like this off the hook? Keep watching the fight. I said it just like that. I had knew then that Naoya Inoue would win that fight from that moment. When that happened, I was like, nah, he's just gonna tighten up now. It's gonna be even harder to hit him. And if you think that you got him relaxed, nice and cold in the first round, Naoya Inoue wasn't even coming out showing his true speed. Even some of the people that were watching the fight with me that day was saying he looked slow. Yeah, was it. You don't come out and just show the guy in front of you everything you got. You know, he was just unloosening up, little pap, little, let me see what you got. I'm going to hit you a little bit, see if you open up. I judge your speed. I'm reading you out. I'm making some reads. And he got caught cold. Boom. And he got dropped. When he got dropped, like I said, I was like, it was spooky because it wasn't like your typical knockdown for me anyway, right? It was crazy watching him fall, right? And then everything started flooding through my mind. I could hear all the haters now, you know, and it was the way he hit the ground. Like you heard his entire body like bounce off the fucking canvas. He was like, boom. I was like, damn, he's out. And then when I saw him, like, he was on the ground, and then I saw him lift his hand like that. I was like, okay. He spins around. He looks into the referee's eyes. And I'm saying to myself, please stand up and don't wobble. That's exactly what I was thinking. If he stands up and he goes, I'm fine, it's over. The referee was gonna stop it. Or if he let him go, now I'm fucking Lewis was gonna stop him. But when he stood up and he was like, he looked okay. I knew he was hurt. He just had to survive, and he did. And once that happened, I was like, you know what, Lewis, you had a good moment in the fight. Good for you. Now it's a wrap, and I knew it. What's up, guys? You seen they cut me off, right? The motherfuckers caught me off in mid sentence. I gotta catch up to what y'all was saying. Damn. What's up, Maddie? Tachi? Yeah, I don't want to mess up your name, man. You said like my show. Thank you. You're in London. What's up? Shout out to London. Long time subscriber. Thank you. Thank you. I don't think there's a best style. It's about adjustments. It is. Adjustments, you know, is like, adjusting to the style. It's just like, yeah, when you can make adjustments in the ring and you got something else, it's not like, okay, say for instance, you get hit big in the ring and then the guy's just making reads on you and you don't have anything else to go to. You didn't have anything to change. You just kept coming out doing the same thing over and over. What else did you have in your bag of tricks if you got in trouble? What was plan B? You know, Typically you got a plan A and a plan B. I always had a plan A and a plan B, right? Plan A was to execute my original game plan, right? And then plan B was to enforce plan A, okay? And that's how I would think, you know. Um, I gotta enforce my game plan. I gotta make adjustments, and but Luis Pantera Nari, he came in and he showed that, his style was good enough to put him down. It was good enough to trick him for that slight moment. But kudos to the great ones that are able to, you know, make adjustment. And I said this too. In a small way, there's a very small part of me that's glad that he got dropped, right? I would rather him get dropped than lose, right? By him getting dropped, it wakes him up to the fact that, yes, I am good. Imagine what everyone must be saying to him on a day-to-day basis. You're just walking through these guys. You're making it look so easy. You got four belts in one division. You moved up to another. You got another four belts. There's no boxers in history that's ever done that. Terrence Crawford was the first man, and you're legitimately the second. Like you're so good. You're so good. And he was probably getting bored. And he's starting to do things in the ring. That knockdown woke him up. It brought him right back to reality. Hey, you're in a fight. And boy, did that straighten him up. As soon as he got dropped like that, and look, he knocks Nery out in the 6th round, right? And you can see at the interview, he grabs the mic, right? And you could see the bruise already start to form on his chin. And it's only the 6th round. Imagine what that shit looks like today. He caught him lovely. He caught him right. For him to rise off the canvas like that, there were a lot of things I needed to see about him. I told you I really didn't care if I saw him, but one of the things were how would him and his team respond if they ever saw him go down in a fight, being how dominant he's been of late his entire career. So I wanted to see that. And I wanted to see how he respond. He was never looking for a way out in the fight. He was looking to establish control. Um, and then when he scored his first knockdown, which gave him more um courage and confidence that I can hurt him. I can drop him. And when you drop your opponent, there's just a rush of energy and confidence that comes over you. Any worry that you had starts to turn into aggression. And now you start to want to take over. Don't walk into anything big. When he had met Louis Nari in the middle of the ring, right there, I think it was at the closing of the 5th round, right there, and he exchanged with him, he had already got warmed up. And there's something about punches that, like in the beginning of my fights, the first few punches would all fucking hurt. A jab would hurt. That shit would hurt. And every punch hurt. But after I got hit a couple of good times, pa pa pa, I didn't feel them anymore that much. I could feel them a little, but my adrenaline had kicked in. Now I'm not feeling the punches as much. I could hear the slap like ah, but that was about it. And now I was warmed up. I'm in the fight. And that's when him and Louis Nari started exchanging in the middle of the ring. Gong, 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 gong. And he was showing him, yeah, I'll take your shot. And he was evading him. He was smart. It wasn't like a rock'em sock'em robot. He wasn't like gonna allow him to hit because he acknowledged, bro, you do hit hard, Louis. You do hit hard. But as of right now, I'm gonna show you why I'm him and why my skills are up here. And he dragged him out and he fought Luis Pantera's ego. When he dropped him, Luis wanted it back. And he met him in the center of the ring and he told him, let's go. Luis in that 5th round took big shots. He took some big shots. And I think those shots slowed him down enough that I started to call it in the fight. If you watch my reaction to the fight, and if you want, just rewind it into the 6th round or so. You'll more or less can tell where I was at. And I start to say it. Before it even happened, I started saying goodbye, Nery. Goodbye. I saw it. He and I was that a wobble? Oh, the fight's over. I was saying goodbye, Nery, goodbye, goodbye. And it was just bing, 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 bing. And then it was just vicious. And that last sequence, the last shots that he hit him with, I wanted to know if it was the uppercut that hurt him the most, right? Because I couldn't understand how he got so much power off that straight right because he ended him with the same hand. It's not like he hit him with this hand and then hit him with the big shot, right? No, he hit him with an uppercut with this hand, and with the same hand, he adjusted, and we just went, and Lewis's neck snapped back like he just got hit with a bomb. He literally just went on the ropes and flapped like this, and he hit the ground, and he was like out of it. You seen it? He was out of it. He was just like, right? And I was like, how the fuck did he just he didn't go like this. He didn't twist his waist. His foot didn't twist. He didn't snap it. It was just like he was standing in front of him. He literally did a Bruce Lee 1.5 inch punch type shit. That's what he did. He went, And the reaction from that punch, it shouldn't have it affected him that much. So I was saying to myself, man, it had to be that uppercut that really had him fucked up. Like, because the uppercut, he caught him pretty flush. But you go watch it, it kind of like, goes past, like it hits him though. That uppercut caught him flush though. Yeah, it did. It was just so fast. He went, and he just went forward. He literally try to do that in your fucking living room right now. Go like this, hit the uppercut and just push your arm forward. How hard do you think you're hitting that person in front of you? Not like that. Yo, that was a crazy punch from that distance. It was just he just snapped it. That right there is truly technique. That's all technique. That's just pure technique. That's hours upon hours of hitting a bag right there from that range. He's just practicing that punch and he's just hitting it harder and harder and convincing himself to learn how to hit it that hard. That's all training, repetition, and that punch was all technique. There was not no torque on it. He didn't twit nothing. It was beautiful. Yeah. I do this to myself. I start talking because I like doing the show. Then all of a sudden I got 400. Yo, yo, hold on. I did put some new effects. I just don't know what buttons they are. Hold on. We got the new one in. We got the new one. Thank you for subscribing to Round One Sports Talk. Okay, and that was a few moments later. And then what's this one?
Another one.
Another one. That's the one I was looking for. What's up, Edwin? Great observation. Thank you. Uh, I thought that too. I thought he was out on his feet with the uppercut, right? So he hits. I mean, and this is all going in real time. I mean, he hit him within a second of apart. It's like a tenth of a fucking 10th of a millimeter center, whatever, right? He was like, right? In real life, it was mad fast. So I try to watch it, right? And I'm like, was he out on his feet? And I can't really tell. He hits him with the shot, picks him up, and Lewis starts to kind of like go back in position, and the punch is just too fast. It comes through and it hits him. But when he hit him with the uppercut, it wasn't like he was wobbling or anything. Once he hits him with the right is where he got all this reaction out of him. He goes back, his head snaps back. He's like, it's not like when he hit him with the uppercut, he started to go down. If he hit him with the uppercut and he was like, poof, and he started to go down, and then he hit him on the way down, I would have been like, yeah. But he hits him, poof. He's like, damn, he's ready to keep fighting. And then the right just comes. And then all of a sudden it's like, poof. And I'm like, what the fuck was that? Because I know how to punch. I practice not trying to knock people out, right? And I practice distance management. And I try not to stuff my hand and between the punching bag, right? Because the punching bag's so big, right? If you don't hit it from the right distance, you're gonna twist your wrist. You could even fuck up your shoulder, and not at the right distance. So I practice distance punching. I practice. I try to find out where am I at the most powerful. From what distance? How I knock people out? Every time I knocked the person out while I was walking away, I thought about how I did it. I did. You know what I'm saying? And I know how difficult it is to hit a person like this and just go forward, bro. I know how hard that is. So I was watching it and I was like, the fuck was that? It's just the way it was the reaction out of Luis Pantera Nares, the way his neck just went. and his body was lifeless. I had to try to figure out, and I can't figure it out. I can't say for certain that uppercut didn't really do all the damage, and then the right hand just, he was out, and then he might have just went, right? But he has a habit of doing that when he snapped back Jason Maloney's head in Madison Square Garden, where he just rolled the shoulder and snapped him forward. Did you see Jason Maloney's soul jump out of the ring and run to the locker room? His soul literally just jumped out of his body and took off. He was like, I'm out, you on your own, and left. Right? So he does got that snap from a small distance. And it goes to show you, bro, he's mastered that shit. He's something else. He is really something else. His style, his positioning, his timing, his speed is all top notch. And when we're talking about the best fighter in the world, I want you to keep this in mind. There is no Superman. There's not a guy in your head like you watch a movie and he's going to go in there and beat 30 guys in one room. You know what I'm saying? That's just bullshit. There's not a guy on this fucking planet that's going to beat me and my boys, 30 of us. It doesn't exist. That will never, ever happen. I don't give a fuck who he is or how much training he has. He's not making it out of that room. 30 of us? Fuck out of here, bro. That's movie shit. That's just a movie, right? So, when you're doing it in real life the way he's doing it, I got to admit, I'm like sitting here on some of his fights and I'm just like, wow. And it's because I come from a real interesting time in boxing. I believe I had two golden years, so to speak. I believe nowadays is a real prime golden years of boxing. There are a lot of men and women that are doing things in the sport of boxing that have never been done before. And we have a lot of talent. And the list goes on for almost every country. They seem to have one or two guys themselves now, like that are like stars, like a Lomachenko, like an Usyk, like a Tyson Fury. Those guys ain't American fighters. Those are those guys' fighters, man. You see? And then we got our American fighters. We got the Terrence Crawfords, the Tank Davises, the Shakur Stevensons, the Devin Haney's. You got the Subriel Matias, which is an American fighter. Okay. You got and the list goes on. There are just you got the Bruce Carringtons that are coming up, the Camille Moens, Abdullah Masons, the Xander Zions of the world. We are in a real golden era of boxing. Errol Spence Jr. I could sit here all night. We're in a big golden era, but I come from the real four horsemen: Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvelous Hagler, you know, Hitman Hearns, those guys. The Floyd Mayweathers, the Manny Pacquiaos, the Hector Camachos, the Felix Trinidads. That was my era. And then when boxing took a dip, I was spoiled. And then when boxing was trying to come up, I was watching these guys and I was like, these guys can't hold these guys jock straps from back in the day. And I started saying to myself, I sound like my dad. I was like, I turned into my dad. I used to hear him say that all the time about his fighters, right? And you kind of like go in, but I got to admit, now boxing really looks like a lot of these gyms are opening their doors and they're teaching some of these kids and passing it down from generation to generation. America needed to start to go out there and venture out and to start to furtherly teach our competition, so that they can get better. I never fear competition, and I understand that the best fighters in the world can come from all parts of the world. And I never want to be deprived of that. Naoya Inoue is a Japanese fighter and he comes from Japan. Imagine if we never got to see him. Imagine if something bad had happened to him and he chose a different path in life. He joined the Japanese Yakuza or whatever gang, you know, gets killed. in a car accident or something, and life takes him away from us, like they did Bruce Lee, and we never get to see him. See, you're never certain or guaranteed that you're going to become the man or woman you should have become, because life has a way of intervening, whether it's sex, drugs, and rock and roll, whatever. But I like when we get to see these men and women become and blossom to the fighters that they should have become. And you can tell that Naoya Inoue was born to fight. Terrence Crawford was born to fight. Tank Davis was born to fight. These men were born to fight. Uh, um, Tyson Fury was born to fight. Just imagine if they was to take away the sport of boxing from us, because sometimes there's injuries in this sport. And there are men and women that have never laced up a pair of gloves would call our sport barbaric and say that they would want to end sports. Really? You would like to end boxing? So what happens when the next Tyson Fury has no sport of boxing to go to? You want a 6'8" Tyson Fury standing on your corner with a bunch of his friends, all hocked up wanting to fight, but got no boxing to fight at. Who you think he's gonna fight? Your son. Soon as he comes out from underneath that bed, because it's time to bully him. Yeah, no, you need outlets like this, sports, mixed martial arts, boxing, because there are men and women that are truly born to fight. They love this is listen, I've explained this more than once to several people. I'm not sure if, anyone ever understood me, but I used to joke about little old ass Bob Arum, right? He's like all of 80, 90 years old. And he's in a room, and his job on a day to day basis is he tells the toughest motherfuckers in the world, take it or leave it. Fuck you. And he's in a room with a bunch of killers, and he walks around with killers, and his bodyguard's a killer. And this old man, he's just a shark. And and when you ask him, there's no other better place he would rather be but in a room or an arena watching a bunch of men beating their brains in, signing more contracts where he feels more at home. I bet at his house with his wife and kids, he can't stay still, right? He needs the blood. You know what I'm saying? And there are just men like this in the world. And if you enjoy boxing just as much as I enjoy boxing, the sweet science, I encourage you to take a look at Naoya Inoue, and really like, and there's a lot of big fighters too. Tank Davis is going to be making his ring return against Frank the Ghost Martin. Not a lot of people, a lot of buzz I'm hearing about it is Lomachenko on June 1st there. And these guys are going out in Australia to bang it out. And the reason why I'm keeping my eye on that one real closely, because if Tank wins and Loma wins, there's a unification somewhere in there. I'm not sure what Shakur Stevenson is doing anymore. I also heard and I reported that um, Stephen Kubo Fulton is going to be making his ring return on in fact Tank Davis's card on June 15th. So I would like to see when he comes back and what weight, and if anyone out there knows what weight Stephen Kubo Fulton is fighting, because I don't believe they announced his opponent yet. Because the last time I checked a few days ago, his opponent was to be determined. So they had him penciled in on Tank Davis's card, but they didn't have an opponent's name by his name. But they did have his name there. But it didn't say what weight, because it was rumored heading into Naoya anyway fight. He was supposed to fight Brandon Figueroa at 126, 126 and a half. It was a catch weight or some shit. I remember there was some half shit in there, if my memory serves me correctly. So, and Brandon just won the other night. So I was saying to myself, are they going to I'm going to run it back between the both of them later? And is he moving up? So that's what I wanted to know. That was my question. Let me read some of your questions, guys. Bob Arum, he's a fucking staple, bro. No matter how much of a snake, no matter how much he's done, no matter if he done this guy wrong, this guy right, show favoritism to this guy, whatever, you gotta admit, Bob Arum is a staple in the sport of boxing. My man was around promoting fucking Ali. Ali was his first. Actually, he wasn't a promoter at the time when he came in. He was a lawyer, and he came in as a consultant for Ali fight. That's where Bob Arum fell in love with the sport, and then he made the He left his job as a lawyer, and he became a full-time boxing promoter. I mean, it didn't happen overnight. It wasn't like today he got in the sport, tomorrow he was a promoter. No, there was a process. He had to learn about the sport. He got screwed over in the sport, fucking with other promoters. Then they said, "Well, this is how you're gonna have to be, kid. You can't be a lawyer coming in here being all nice." And then Bob Arum, he lost a couple millions and he fucking with mobsters and shit. He had to grow a thick skin. And he knew right there that he had to be as shisty as the next one. Make false promises, false claim, put together fights on money he didn't have. You know what I'm saying? He had money tied up over here. They do all kinds of crazy shit. But he became the man, and he made the promotional top rank organization. Uh, you know, he has like 25 Bob Arums. Ironically, they all look alike, right? Because the Japanese superstars promoter, that's Japan's Bob Arum. Bob Arum. That's Japan's Bob Arum. And he works for top rank under Bob Arum as a promoter advisor. Yeah, so he's got a whole bunch of Bob Arums around the whole world. They all answer to him, but they're all these short, old, stocky men, old men. Yeah, yeah, they all look kind of the same. Every time I see the new other Bob Arum, he looks kind of like like if Bob Arum was Japanese, he looked like that. you know. God bless. God bless. Go get some sleep. Thank you. Thank you for chatting with us. Put your hand back and your elbow up. Wait a minute. How you throwing a punch? I gotta see. I gotta hear this. What? So you're saying, okay, okay, okay. I see what you're saying. You say he hit him with the uppercut, and when he lifted his elbow up and he twisted his knuckles and he hit him like this. So he was able to put that comes with practice. You got to practice that punch. Sitting at home thinking how to throw it, that's pretty cool. But can you do it in a fight? You might think you can, but that'll be out. Like I said, it was going to turn into hours upon hours of trying to learn how to throw it harder and harder and keep banging to get the kind of reaction that he got out of Luis Pantera Nari. Hell yeah. So Ryan was only positive for one PE. What's up? We got the donation. Thank you for the donation. You got the Pacific. What? It's blue. It blended into my background. It pops up blue. Your name. I wonder if I could actually change that. the blue words. Maybe I can make them white. You know what I mean? But I got your name right here. You got the pop up. You know what I mean? Thank you for the donation for the 5 spot. Thank you for the support. Round One Sports Talk. So, what were we talking about right now? I gotta put all this stuff back the way I had it. This shit is fucking. I feel like picking up the laptop and literally showing you guys what the fuck I'm reading. Yeah, I did it again. The words are like this. They look like microscopic. I was trying to like blow the screen up and then make it shorter. But what I ended up doing was I made my settings real big. Like if I was like settings for dummies, right? The buttons are huge right here, right? So you hit the three little dots and I started to like zoom where it says zoom in, zoom out. So I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna zoom out, right? Do, 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 do. What it did was it zoomed my messages like this, right? So I just got kicked for showing the video and shit. So I'm not trying to go into all the settings and fix it. So excuse me for not reading the messages as fast tonight and getting back to you guys. But you guys know I love the support and I will read your messages and answer your questions absolutely. Yeah, the what it says. Yeah, and the mouse is the fucking goat. Who? What? The mouse? Who's the mouse? What are you guys talking about? No, yeah, no way. Oh, Mighty Mice Johnson, he's the fucking GOAT. Hell yeah, he's the GOAT. He's always been the GOAT, man. They don't want to give him his respect because I don't know, man. The lower weight division wasn't getting a lot of love back then. And I don't know what the fuck people, but there were a lot of just drunken people in the audiences in the UFC. And at that time, they weren't really paying attention to the beauty of what Demetrious Johnson was doing in that octagon, my brother. I don't care what anybody says. Demetrious Johnson stylistically is way better than John Jones. John Jones truly can't hold Demetrius jockstrap when it comes to training and in the gym for as a whole as a package. John Jones understands himself, and John Jones is real lengthy. He doesn't have the best fundamentally stand up, but his wrestling is superior to none. His wrestling is phenomenal. His elbows, his spinning attacks, and his eye pokes and illegal kicks to the knee are fucking phenomenal. John Jones is famous for eye pokes and kicking your knee out. Real dirtball moves. He's the best at it. But when it comes to skill, real skill, and I'm talking about from your feet game, your stand up, to your jujitsu, to your wrestling, to your Romo wrestling, everything. John Demetrius Johnson was the full package, hands down. And I don't think there's ever been a fighter in the UFC that could mirror him to this day. There's a lot of great fighters. There's a lot of great fighters and strong fighters, knockout artists, real good knockout artists that are, you know, big and, seal the show. But skill for skill, nah, nah. Technique for technique, nah. Nah, Demetrius Johnson is just he was way ahead of all those guys, ahead of the curve. Those guys are learning what to do now, what Demetrius was doing then, 10 years ago, 12 years ago. Demetrius was that nice, that on that level years ago. Where these guys now are starting just to be like semi around where he was at. But he was been there. He was just something else. That little dude was something else, man. Nah, they don't care for him. Nah, and ironically, it was because of the time. Demetrius Johnson today would fucking shine in the UFC. Would shine because what you're seeing in the UFC now are educated fans. Not just these drunk dudes that bought a $25 ticket. Come on, son, let's go watch somebody get knocked out, right? And Demetrius is putting him in a pretzel type shit, because you know how he is. He's moving, sliding. Before you know it, you fucked up. You like this, right? And the fans wanted to see knockouts at that time. They didn't care about his skill. They were booing him, in fact. And he was the fucking greatest fighter they had. But also there were two things that were against him. He was so fucking small. Same thing like Naoya Inoue. The little guy got to do double the work to get the recognition. That's why Naoya Inoue. If Naoya Inoue was doing this shit at 135, 140, forget it. They would have to give him his flowers. He would have been past Terrence Crawford. But because he's so small, they like don't want to take him serious. Because when you see Demetrious Mighty Mouse Johnson in real life, he's little. He's fucking small. So when you look at him, you're like, and that's what happened. He had too many factors against him. He wasn't blessed. God didn't bless him with height and size. Had the good Lord made Demetrious Johnson at least 5'7", it's a rap kid. Fucking rap kid. He ends all of them. McGregor wouldn't be McGregor. Fucking none of these guys would have had careers. He would have did what Michael did to Charles Barkley and the rest of the NBA. None of them dudes got rings. None of them dudes would have had belts. If God would have made Demetrius Johnson just like 5'7", bigger, had a bigger frame, it was a wrap. John Casimero challenges the monster. Can and, how about what? How about hosting a featherweight world boxing super series in Vegas? That would be exciting, huh? Enter the tournament, everybody enters the tournament, brings their belts, and then, but the tournament will take a little bit of time to play out. You got the first round of the tournament, then in a few months you would have to come back and, it's not like it would be in a one night thing. The Super Series, World Series of Boxing for the Muhammad Ali trophy that played out through the courses of events of fucking like a year, you know, maybe a little longer. I forgot to check the time, but he fought Payano in the first fight, and then he went in the ring and he fought Emmanuel Rodriguez in the second fight, and then he fought Donaire in the last fight. And that's going to take time to put together. But in Vegas, it would be big. It would be really big. I would like to see Naoya Inoue come to America and come to Vegas and fight someone like Lomachenko, someone like that. I got to be honest with you. I'm a little bit worried about Luis Alberto Lopez now at 126. I'm worried about him and Naoya. If Luis Nari has that same style and his wild approach where that he can't judge him like that, he can give the more superior boxer trouble, because he's got to find a way to pick up on his distance with him in order to hit him correctly, you know. All that lunging could give you a problem, as you can see it did, and I think that Naoya in a way, um, he got caught cold. It was the first round. He was, and you could see when that shit woke his ass up. I tell me something. I'll tell you what. From the moment he hit him with that shot and dropped him, did Luis Nari win any part of any part of that fight? From the moment he hit the ground and he stood back up, did Louis Nari win any part of that fight? He probably won that round. I give him that round. But from the second round on, the Japanese superstar took over the fight. Louis didn't win another moment in the round. That's some superior shit right there. You're getting dropped and you turn it around that bad, that strong from the guy that just put you down. I mean, normally it doesn't go that way, right? Right? You drop the dude, you're almost on the verge of winning. It should take quite a while. No, he drops him 3 times in the fight. Naoya Inoue dropped Luis Nari 3 times in that fight. From the time he dropped him, think about that shit. He really got up off that canvas and took over. So it goes to show you, he proved to the world that was a lucky punch. You don't got the skills to hit me with that punch again. And I'm going to prove it to you. You will never land that punch for the rest of this fight. In fact, the only punches that are going to be landing tonight from here on in are my punches to your face. Let's go. And that's what happened. That's what happened. He showed you in his own way that was a lucky punch. And how did he prove it? He didn't land it again. He didn't win another second, another minute of that fight. That's how I know that was a lucky punch. Had it not been a lucky, at least he would have been hitting him. Yep. That would be huge in Vegas. Oh, that would be a huge Vegas fight. You get Loma. Guys know Loma is a blown up 135 pounder. He doesn't belong there. The only reason why Loma's at 135 was for the names. He had to blimp himself up because he was chasing the big fights. And without the big fights and the big names, there was no one at 130 for him. Loma is a natural 130 pounder. So Loma can go back to his natural weight at 130. And let's say Naoya Inoue moves up to 126. He fights at 126. He wins at 126. Loma goes back down to 130. From 126 to 130 is 4 fucking pounds. 4 pounds, we're talking. That fight is possible. Not like when they're talking about Naoya Inoue versus Terrence Crawford. Now that's ridiculous. That will never happen. But I believe Loma could even squeeze down past 130. Or they could meet at a catchweight somewhere. But I actually think realistically, those two men, that fight is more possible than the Gervonta Davis fight, in which I think that one's possible. But the Loma is even more possible than Gervonta Davis. And I think Gervonta Davis can make it. But unless the Naoya Inoue packs on the pounds the right way, I wouldn't advise him to take that fight against Tank Davis. Tank Davis might hit a little too hard for him. He might be a little too big for the Japanese superstar. You know what I mean? But there are fighters like the Japanese superstar that know how to deal with power. When he got knocked down by Luis Nari, that was a powerful shot. What did he do? He took away his power. He knows how to deal with power. He just showed you. That was the strongest shot he got hit with and dropped him. He never landed that powerful punch again, did he? No, why? Because he knows how to deal with power. Devin Haney didn't know how to deal with power. That's why he couldn't take that away from Ryan Garcia. He didn't know what to do. Naoya Inoue got dropped, didn't get dropped again. That's what Devin Haney should have did to Ryan Garcia. That's exactly what Devin Haney needed to do to Ryan Garcia. That was basically the same scenario. You had the superior fighter getting knocked down for the first time, and the guy that he should be on his level is doing the knocking down. And if you want to see what the best fighter in the world looks like, that should say it all right there. Naoya Inoue, how did he fare up when he got knocked down the first time against a less foe coming into the fight? It was the same scenario with Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia. Same fucking scenario. But Devin Haney couldn't adjust. Devin Haney couldn't deal with the power. And Devin Haney once he got knocked down and he knew that his wife was watching him and all that was fucking with him. He couldn't get back into the fight. He looked lost. This man got knocked down for the first time in his career. He got off the counter, got himself to the next round, gathered his composure, made adjustments, and took over the fight. And knocked out the guy 3 times and fatally knocked him out in the last sequence to the guy that put him down for the first time. How did Devin Haney do? I'll wait. You see? You see? And then when you're talking about the best of the best, why are they not giving this guy his credit? Why are they not trying to say that the Japanese dude is not him? When in every situation you could think of in boxing, he's passing he's passing it. You know, you can't say he don't got no chin now. You can't say he can't. Where has he ever been challenged? He's not fighting anyone. He's never had to fight against adversity. He's fighting tomato cans. Everything's easy. Well, he just got rocked. Didn't know where he was. Got up, handled adversity, and won the fight. What the fuck are they going to say about him now? There's always something. Now they got caught mid combo left uppercut and attempted a right hook. I don't buy that Naoya had a flaw when he was throwing a combo. Naoya at the uppercut just through the hook. How do you block it? No, actually, what happened in the sequence was Naoya in a way had threw a punch and their punches were getting tangled. Both his hands were like this. Go back and watch it. When he was trying to slide his hand out like this, he got caught. That's how he did it. He caught him in an awkward movement. When the Japanese dude had already swung, his hand was down here. Go look at it. And he was going to take his hand out like this. What Naoya actually was actually going to do, he had already knew Luis Pantera Nery was going to throw that left hook. He already knew it. In fact, what's up? Thank you for the donation. Who that? Blade? Blade? So, thank you. When he had already knew he was gonna throw the left hook. Naoya Inoue has done this in multiple fights where he lets the guy go to throw, he turns his face and comes over his shot and snaps his head. He did it to Stephen Kubo Fulton in their fight. He's done it several times in his fight. When he was that close with with Luis Nery, he was sliding his hand out already, anticipating Nari's shot. He was going to do your traditional roll and he was going to snap Nery on the side of his head. What happened was Nery didn't throw the punch wide enough. Naoya Inoue was expecting a wider punch. He took the fat off of it and Nery hit him. Se lo dio cortito. He gave it to him real short, right here. And he hit him like that. And then Naoya, what made it so bad is that when Naoya Inoue, he punches hard. So Naoya was coming with a punch and he was swinging when the punch caught him flush. When Nery's punch caught him, he wasn't thinking it was going to catch him that heavy. He thought he was going to roll with it. And when it caught him, He fucking threw his punch that it spun him even more. So the punch caught him good, and his body momentum was already going. So he really like he hit him, his foot came from underneath him, and his whole body just fucking bounced off the mat. Like, boom. That when I first saw that, I was like, he's out. For a split second, I was like, he's dead. He's dead. I was like, he killed him, right? And then when he like spun around and he was like looking at the ref, I was like, nah, he's good. He's good. I was like, the only thing I need to see if he stands up and he wobbles, because truly, 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 if you've never been in this situation, when you get hit hard and your legs start to wobble, you can't control it. It's something that happens to you that you feel absolutely fine from the waist up. And I mean, you feel great. You're like, nothing's wrong. And all of a sudden you start noticing that you're going backwards. And you're like, what the fuck is going? And you don't have time because this guy is coming full steam at you. So now, you're left with a couple options here. Or you gotta shell up, right? Or try that exchange, and the next thing you'll remember, you're gonna be on Sports Center in a highlight, because that's what you're gonna end up, right? So when he stood up, that's exactly what I wanted to see. Whether his legs were underneath him. When I saw his legs were underneath him, I knew at that point it was up to him now. His fate was in his own hands at that point. If he made a bad decision or wrong, if he put his hands down, he got cracked again, anything could have happened at that point. But I felt good though. When the referee came, shook his gloves, and he tied up and he started going around, I was like, he still got his wits about himself. I felt good. I felt good. When he made it pass out of the round, that's when I felt 100% better. I said, nah, he needed to jump on him, and he didn't. And then Louis Nari's moment passed him. And I was yelling and I was saying, dog, I was like, I think you should have jumped on him right there. And I was like, watch. And I called it. I said, you want to see what happens when you let a superior fighter off the hook? You're about to witness it. And it happened, just like I said. Yeah. He looked shocked. Yeah, he looked shocked. He didn't know how he got there. He was like, "What the fuck am I doing on the floor?" He looked at the referee. He was like, "Why are you counting?" Oh shit! I got knocked down. This motherfucker. He was never looking for a way out. He wasn't looking to survive. No, he was looking to get it back. And that's those kind of fighters, that they embrace the moment. They don't shy away from the moment. Like sometimes you can get cracked hard or dropped, it'll freak you out. You're like, I'm done, I'm not fighting no more. He's the type of man that you'll crack him, drop him, spit out blood. Good one, good one. Come on, come on. You know what I mean? He's not looking for a way out. He doesn't want to quit. None of that. You got me. Oh, he accepts it. Good one. Good one. Good one. Good one. You ready? You ready? Okay, let's go. You know what I'm saying? He ain't looking for a way out. He want to get it back. And those are fighters. Those are fighters. Yeah. And you're not gonna know how your fighter is until they're in those situations. I know guys that look a fucking amazing. They look great. 15 professional fights, 10 knockouts. He's the shit. And until he gets and he meets himself, now all of a sudden he's talking about retiring, walking away from the sport. I need a year off. I really need to figure out who I am. This guy gets dropped for the first time in his career. I'll fight you in September. Bro, that's like right around the corner. Superior mindset. He's not going to shy away from it. He understands this is boxing and shit happens. But he also understands he's not getting any younger. And your window for being great and writing your legacy, it's not that big. If you were to enter boxing at the age of 20 years old, from 20 to 30 is 10 years. How much time do you think you got to be a professional athlete? You can party later. You can spend all that money later. These guys got it fucked up. Want to get a little paycheck and go on 2-year hiatus. Well, you just took 2 years off your career. Just ask Errol Spence Jr. how that worked out for him. Ask men like John Jones how that worked out for him. Do you know how good of a champion men like John Jones and Errol Spence Jr. could have been? How many more divisions they possibly could have went up? But they stole that from all of us because at the same time, some of these guys got to learn how to deal with money. Some of these guys come from the gutter. They never had anything. And they're in the mix, and all their favorite celebrities are calling them out everywhere. Happens all the time. But Naoya Inoue is really, he was the type of fighter that was upset that we went through the corona epidemic. He feels like they stole 2 years from him, like a lot of athletes do. You know, he feels like had he had those 2 years, and now you can see he's not playing around. He's not. He's fighting every fucking 6 months. When men like Terrence Crawford is fighting once a year. In the last 5 years, for the last 5 years, Terrence Crawford has fought one time every year for the last 5 years. That's a fact. Yeah, he has massive power. Remember when they said coming into the fight, Luis Nari has never suffered a knockdown from the jaw. He only been knocked out from the body. And I was fucking around on the live, and I was saying, so you said he's never been knocked out here, here, right here, right, right, right there. No one's ever dropped him with a punch right here. I said, okay, let's watch. And the first man to go down was Naoya Inoue. I was like, right? But I was live streaming, so I had to keep it together, right? So I'm like, oh shit. But once he started coming back and he knocked him out at the end, I was like, yo, my man, you said right here? Right here? Yo, he smashed him. Yeah. Yeah, they everybody's gonna talk shit about Naoya anyway, but not every man has ever got knocked out and had to face adversity like that and fucking come back in the fight and win. There are very few men that can do that and has done that. You know, talk is cheap in this world. Anybody can talk. Casimero can sit from his couch all day and criticize him, but one, he doesn't have all four belts. Two, he isn't fighting him. And Casimero, if you ever want to try to fight him, why don't you get off your couch, move up to 126, or you know what I'm saying, somewhere where you can get something to entice him. I guess he couldn't grab anything at 122, so he would have to go to 126. Or beat the guy at least that makes you a mandatory to his belts. Not just sit back and talk and expect a free ride because you're the loudest. Because you bark the loudest. You want him to turn around, and when you haven't earned it, you haven't beat anybody for a belt, and you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, but yet you feel you deserve a fight against a man that did it the right way. You know what I'm saying? And when I went to look up Naoya Inoue's mandatories for the 122-pound belts, ironically, Casamero's name is not in none of the belts mandatories. So, in fact, Luis Pantera Nares was the WBC number one contender, and Goodman has the other two belts locked down. Yeah, and I think who was the other one? I think was it Brandon Figueroa at one time? No, 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 no. Wait. It was MJ. MJ was the WBA, and then Goodman was the other ones. So MJ got the WBA. Goodman was the number one for the other two, and Luis Pantera Nari was the one for the WBC. Casimero's name is nowhere to be found. I'm just telling you the facts. He needs to fix his life. I talked about that too. Thank you for mentioning it. I try to tell the viewing audiences that too. Just because you talk shit, he needs to fix his life, his health. His health is not the best health in the world. Yeah, I told you guys, smoke screens. Smoke screens. Just because you can spew it out of your mouth doesn't make it fact. I'm not sure if Casimero can beat MJ right now. And that could be a way to Naoya Inoue. If you take care of Naoya Inoue's light work, the people that are calling him out, like beat Goodman. If you can get and beat those kind of guys, then you'll be right there. He doesn't want to work for it. He just wants to talk. He want to do the Jake Paul shit, the Ryan Garcia, not be in the best of shape, not fight the best guys, just call them out. And I feel if I talk the most shit, that should make me deserve the fight. Nah, you should move up the ranking. And I can't even say like everybody else because boxing's fucking wild, huh? It's truly the wild, wild west. Ryan Garcia got himself in a position to fight Devin Haney when in actuality, he didn't deserve that fight. He never earned that fight with Devin Haney. Devin Haney should have fought someone else in actuality. He never fought at 140. Ryan Garcia has never fought at 140, not even once. Yeah. So every fight he scheduled at 140, he never made the weight. The fight was scheduled at 140, yeah. So from the outside looking in, you would say, yeah, fight scheduled at 140. Yeah, he did, but you actually have to make the weight. All three times he fought at 140, he never made 140. So how could you say he fought there? You know, you can say anything. He never made the weight. Yeah. What's up, Victor? Who's jealous? What's going on? Sean, Jazz, Pipe, what? Wanting to be. My girl wants to party all the time, party all the time, party all the time. Casimero wants to party all the time. ah, oh shit. And Eddie Murphy party all the time. I should have threw on the shades for that one. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Nah, listen. At one point, Casimero was that dude. He was just kind of like Errol Spence Jr. And now, everybody remembers Errol Spence Jr.'s name and who he was once upon a time. I don't think he's the same fighter today. He would have to show me. After that performance against Terrence Crawford, and I saw that those two car accidents, attached retinas, all that injury caught up to his ass, and he's just not the same fighter. Casimera, once upon a time, was a fucking dog. He would get in there and fucking. He was a fighter. He was kind of like Manny Pacquiao. You know what I'm saying? And Casimero was knocking people out. And you know what I'm saying? I'm a fan of Casimero. I like Casimero, right? I just don't like the man he is today. I don't like the position he put himself in, and I don't like the fights he's been fighting lately, right? And I think it's all tribute to his health condition, and his choices of life choices and what he did. All that partying, all that shit caught up to you. So he has no one really to blame but himself, unfortunately. So I'm not going to be easy on him neither. I'm not going to sit here and think that he deserves this fight for the man and the fighter he once was. Once upon a time, I felt that Naoya Inoue needed to fight Casimero or he was ducking him. There was a point in time a few years ago where that I would have prepared to say that. And then Casimero loses, and then I'm like paying attention to Casimero, and I'm seeing him on YouTube and the videos. Then I started seeing his health, and then I started seeing all this other stuff. And I once I looked at him, I said, I've seen this before. I was raised in America. America trained me well. I seen what happens in these streets in America. I've been in places in America. America, I'm American made. You ain't getting too much by me. Trust me. And when I saw him, I was like, man, you know how many times I've seen that in American fighters? And I was just like, and it just got worse. It just got worse. I mean, he had some moments back. He had some moments, okay, but not enough to no longer call the attention of a man like this. You know what I mean? So much, in fact, that this guy took Louis Nari. Because why? You would think that Casimero's name is bigger than fucking Luis Pantera Nari that got ejected out of Japan. You mean they rather reinstate a guy, lift his ban, than fight you? Why? Because in actuality, you're not ready. You're not, no, he's just, you know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, but I liked Casimero back in the day. Oh, I fucking liked him, bro. He was explosive, man. He used to do his thing, man. I thought Casimero was going to be that guy. I thought at one point in time that Casimero was going to have sort of like a Naoya Inoue career, in fact. At one point when he was like really coming up young and everything, and I was just like, yeah, here we go, another Manny Pacquiao. This guy's going to come out and do his thing. And then what the fuck, bro? 122 passed him up. Now, Casimera is old. Old news up. Naoya is London for what? September. Oh, Naoya Inoue versus a prime Manny Pacquiao. Oh, which version of Manny Pacquiao are you talking about? Which one? Which version of Manny Pacquiao? Like 130-pound Manny Pacquiao? 135 Manny Pacquiao? 140? 147? I know it's not 154. 154 Manny Pacquiao can't fight Naoya Inoue. No. 147 can't neither. 130, 135? 130-pound Manny Pacquiao would beat Naoya Inoue, maybe. He just might. You know why? I don't know, man. That would be a good because I know that Naoya Inoue is more fundamentally sound. His style is better than Manny's. The way he does the dance is way better than Manny's. He's he's he seems to like, but Manny has that piston shot that comes from right here, where he surprised a lot of people. The way he knocked out Ricky Haddon and fighters like that. He was so fast. when he fought against like Tim Bradley. When he fought Tim Bradley was strong, bro. Manny Pacquiao beat the shit out of him, bro. He was so much faster than Tim Bradley, and I thought Tim Bradley was really fast. When he beat up Oscar De La Hoya, Oscar De La Hoya is a great boxer. The way he outboxed Oscar De La Hoya like that, man, he was strong, bro. He was fucking strong, and he had that fucking 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. I mean, he wasn't better fundamentally polished like Naoya Inoue. I believe Naoya Inoue has a better selection of punches. I believe Naoya Inoue's footwork is better, but Manny's too dangerous on the inside. He was far too dangerous. And when you had a light Manny Pacquiao, like a 130 Manny Pacquiao, shit, a 122 Manny Pacquiao was fucking dangerous. I forget sometime he came up from 108 too. He passed all those fucking divisions. Shit, if you get a 126-pound Manny Pacquiao, he fought at 127. He fought a catch weight there for the 126. He was a fucking monster there too. You know what? My honest assessment, I would say that would be a 50-50 fight. That would be my honest assessment. If I was to get Manny Pacquiao in his prime and Naoya Inoue in the best peak of his shape, he's in his prime now, so it's basically him now. I would say that was a real, that would be the hardest fight I would have to probably ever judge in my life. I honestly couldn't tell you who would win in that fight because they're both fucking great, bro. You know, I know they're not going to look the same. I know they're not going to look the same. And I know what you're thinking that Naoya Inoue looks better polished. I'm trying to tell you that kind of doesn't matter when you have an elite fighter like Manny that knows when to throw his punches. It doesn't look like much, but for some reason, he's just touching you. You're like, what? His skill doesn't look like. And all of a sudden, whap, whap, those two lightning shots, and you're on the ground, bro. Yeah, man. Manny was good when it came to that. And he fought real superior. He had battles. He had the Barrera and shit. Those were fucking fast motherfuckers. So Manny comes from there. He comes from there. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. It's blue. It keeps blending into. I can't see it. I'm sorry. But thank you. A prime Donaire. Donaire, it was always going to be a dangerous fight because whether you know the history behind Donaire and Naoya Inoue, Donaire lives on that side of the world. And as Naoya Inoue was coming up and he was young and he was getting experience, who do you think Donaire was sparring against? Naoya Inoue to prepare himself for his title fights. When Naoya Inoue was 14, 15, 16, 17 years old, 18 years old. He sparred against Donito Donaire for years. That's why Donito Donaire knew who he was. He was familiar with Naoya Inoue. It's not like he went in the ring and that was the first time he saw him. That's why their first fight was so good. Nonito Donaire had things on other guys that they would have never had on Naoya Inoue. They were familiar with each other. In fact, Naoya Inoue's left check hook, he got it from Donaire. Donaire taught him how to throw that left check hook when Naoya Inoue was younger. I know all of this. I know the history because I do my homework so that I can bring it to you guys. The only reason why Donaire fought him that good is because he was familiar with him. When Naoya Inoue no longer respected or wasn't going to take Nonito Donaire lightly, he respected him too much. He shared sparring with him too much. The second time they met, it was a whole different story, wasn't it? He didn't play with Donaire and he destroyed him. I have to agree with you. If Donaire was younger, I believe he would have had a little bit more, but I have to disagree with you on one thing. Whatever Donito Donaire lost in his step throughout the years, he gained in experience. He was a more battle tested fighter. And there's nothing in that first fight. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. There is nothing in that first fight that he did that showed me that he was old. Donito Donaire looked fast, great, smart, accurate. When he fought Naoya Inoue the first time, bro, I gotta admit, that was a fucking great version of Donito Donaire. That veteran showed that kid. In order for you to knock out a veteran fighter such as Donaire, what he lost in his step, he gained in experience, meaning he knew exactly where to stand in a fight now. He knows distance, timing, he knows where not to be in order for you to hit him big. In order for Naoya Inoue to fake and psych out a man like that in the first round, he faked him like he was good, and then he hit him with that shot, just like he hit Luis Pantera Nery with that shot. Boom. Where was Donaire? He was on the floor. Had there been 10 seconds in that round, the fight was over. He was saved by the bell. 20 seconds into the second round, the fight was over. Yeah. Donito came into that second fight in probably the best shape of his life. Again, because he knew from the first fight. He knew. He knew. But yet people are going to call him old. Really? Donito Donaire is being called old at 36 when he fought Naoya Inoue at what, 23, 24? Ironically, when Floyd Mayweather was 36 and he fought Saul Canelo Alvarez, which was 23, and he whooped Saul Canelo Alvarez's ass, you know what they said? Oh, Saul Canelo Alvarez was green. He didn't have enough experience. Bullshit. He had 33 professional fights and he was already a world champion coming into the fight against Floyd. How much experience do you want him to have? But you see how the storyline, whether you were too young or too old, they're going to use something when you lose the fight. Donito Donaire was in the prime of his career. As you can see, Donito Donaire doesn't age like everybody else. He's one of those type of guys that was 36, still feeling like he was 26, and still fighting like he was 26. That version of Donito Donaire, that fight when he fought Naoya Inoue the first time, there wasn't a lot of guys that beat that version. I guarantee you this much, and I believe this. Had Naoya Inoue not entered that tournament, the World Series of Boxing, who stops Donito Donaire? He walks away with all the belts. He beats everybody in the tournament. But yet, if Naoya Inoue beats him, right, he's old. But he wasn't old enough to win the fucking tournament. Because had it not been for Naoya Inoue, he wins the tournament. But yet, he's an old man. Take that to the bank. No, I don't think you did. And I'll say it again. Hater. They're not Class C fighters. Is that I think he makes them look like that. You know, um, um, most of these guys he beat went on to become world champions again after he took their belts. That's not really a Class C fighter. That's the type of fighter saying, had it not been for you that beat me, I would I would be champion. You're the only guy that beat me that, took that away because when he beat Jason Maloney, he went right back and got his belt once he vacated him. When he beat Emmanuel Rodriguez, he went right back and got his belt. So a lot of these guys, that's proof that his fighters are not C fighters. Those you gotta be shitting me. You didn't just drop 50 spot on your boy. You didn't just do that. Stop it. You didn't just do that. Thank you for the donation. Yo, stop playing with me. You didn't drop a 50 spot for your boy. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yo, so like, thank you. Ah, man, I don't want to fuck up your name. I made the thing too small today. Yo, I swear to God, I got you. I got you. I got you. Don't worry. I'm gonna get. I got you on the next one too. Thank you for the $50 donation. It means a lot to me. Thank you. Um, Yeah, I see that. That's a 50 piece. That was a banger. Yo, I'm definitely gonna use that to get me around in PR to get to these for some gas and everything to get me to the uh Subriel Matias's interviews and shit. So, I'm packing some of this bread together so that I can get out to these fights and stuff. And I am, and I'm gonna bring you guys way better content and stuff like that. Cause everything I get for this channel goes right back into the channel. You know how I do. So yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that. That got me psyched up and fucked my mind up and shit. Now forgot what I was talking about. Yeah, yeah. Nah, cause I feel the love. It's not about the money. You know what I'm saying? I've had money. You know what I mean? It's just the amazement that it amazes me that like you guys support the channel and you guys like really know that this shit is hard work, you know what I mean? And this shit costs money to do, and I don't complain. I'm trying to like just put this shit together, but and I love it. I enjoy it. This is my passion. And sometimes I get caught up rumbling and shit, but I'm just a passionate person, that likes to share the sport, and I think of all these kind of scenarios and stuff. And there's a lot of great fights in a lot of big fights. And I can't wait for this Subriel Matias fight against Liam Paro in Puerto Rico, and I will be attending that fight. And, I'm going to do my best to bring you as best coverage as I can. But at the same time, also give respect to a lot of these lower fighters, because there's enough channels that all day, every day, all they do is talk about Tank Davis, Terrence Crawford, and everyone else. And a lot of those guys get enough love. One of these guys that I've seen, and I've seen athletes in the sport go by, and I know people that never got to witness Michael Jordan playing. And I was like, man, you were never got to see him play. And it was like, nah, I never got to see him play. And I was like, man, I was around that era. I saw every game. I wasn't at him, but on TV, I saw him and shit. And when I saw this man fight Naoya Inoue, I knew from the moment I watched him. And then I was all excited, I was coming back into boxing those times, and I was extremely excited, and I was happy to hear the reviews on him. And basically, that's kind of like what sparked me making Round One Sports Talk to begin with. My very first video, Round One Sports Talk, was about Naoya Inoue and how I didn't understand how the world couldn't see him for who he was. And I didn't know why. And I understand competition. I understand that, the Americans ain't going to always cheer for another guy. That's not what I love fighting for. I'm not competing. I'm not in the ring. I shouldn't be held by those standards. I'm reporting boxing and I'm covering fighters. So by that, I can report any fighter. And every other fighter is getting enough credit and enough love up there. You should hear some of the things they would say about this guy. And I just said it wasn't so. I just couldn't believe what they were hearing, what I was hearing. Yesterday, whatever days it was ago, when I first saw him go down for the first time, my entire argument just came full circle. It just was the whole room just went shh and came in on me. And I knew what they were gonna say. I knew what they were gonna say. I knew what my brother was gonna say. I knew what everybody I was just like, come on, dog, get up. And it made me so happy to sit there live, watch him come back in that fight, take control of the fight, and win the fight. And and that just solidifies it for me of how special he truly is. I was like, yeah, man, there's another notch. I mean, he's not the first man to do it. No, I'm not in awe. I'm not like prisoner in the moment, that type shit. No, I've seen people come back in fights. He just checked that box for me. You know what I mean? I was like, okay, okay, I see you. I see how you built. I see how for future fights, for future fights, for bigger, massive fights in the states. Eventually, those fights are gonna come. The more I see him in different situations, the better I see him performing, the better I feel confident watching him in his next fight. You see? So, yeah, you can learn a lot from a fighter. What's up, Bam Bam? How you doing? He put on a masterclass of boxing after round one. If he spoke English, he would really like sell himself. You see a lot of fighters that are from around the world. You know, America doesn't learn their language. They learn American. Arthur Beavis, Arthur Benavides. I get his name with Arthur Benavides. Like I say it wrong. I say it like David Benavides because it kind of sounds like it. But you heard him speak since the time Demetrious Bivol fought Canelo Alvarez because he speak better English now. Hell, fucking yeah, he does, doesn't he? Right? A lot of these fighters that are making their transition over to America, they're learning how to speak American better. Subriel Matias was trying his luck up on the stage with Ed Hearn. Yo, when they put the mic in front of Subriel, Subriel was like, ¿Qué? ¿Qué? ¿Qué él dijo? Like he didn't know no English. And now he's Teofimo Lopez. Pussy. Good enough English for me. Right? So yeah, if Naoya Inoue just learned how to say hello, man, he would fucking blow up, bro. Oh, he just has to like. What the fuck is he calling what? Carl Dean is gay? What? You guys are fucking crazy, bro. If I leave y'all in the chat by yourselves, y'all just do what talk about it amongst yourselves. Yo, listen, people. Nah, like, yeah, man. I wanted to hop on today and really just shed some light. I need a wrench. You need a wrench, Boogie. Yo, Boogie. Where's my man Boogie at? There's your wrench, Boogie. Regulate shit, Boogie. I can't do it all. Armando, I want you to be a moderator too. I'm gonna put you down as one. Boogie, police that shit. Yo, listen, guys. But yeah, man. There you go, Boogie. Armando, I'm asking you to be one, and all right, I want you to be my other one. So on different days, when if one of you guys ain't on or in, you guys can put it down. I'm gonna rock with Boogie right here. See how he does. Give him a little power and to see if he goes crazy with it. If he learns how to, you know what I'm saying, manage the power correctly. We'll leave it with him for a little while, But Armando and all right, yeah. Oh, Armando, you here, right? Yeah, I got you. Boogie got a Reg now. He's like, yeah, there's a new sheriff in town. Yo, he's crazy. He's crazy. Yeah, he wrote it. There's a new sheriff in town. Regulators, mount up. Yo, yo, yo. But yeah, guys, man, listen. Yeah, yeah, Armando. Yeah, I want you to be one of my peoples with me, brother. Absolutely. I'm about to give you some law. Don't let it get to your head, and you know what I mean. Use it wisely, young Jedi's. All right. Yeah, just be cool, be cordial. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I always tolerate shit talking. I don't care if another dude's like, yeah, that dude's a sucker of a boxer. But you start calling each other disrespect like that other dude the other night. So I don't even want to repeat what he said. That's just too much, bro. We come here to enjoy, have a good time. You know, uh, I put on a show for you guys, and then we can kill some time, some hours, and talk as friends and shit, and shoot the shit. Ain't got nothing else to do right now. You know what I'm saying? Laying back, I'm not out there getting in trouble. I'm out here, so that's how I feel. Yeah, fam. You guys, yes, look at us. You guys are crazy. Yeah. 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 Thanks, guys. Thanks for supporting the channel, supporting the brand, really understanding, man, and sitting here with us, chopping it up, man. Thank you guys. You guys are fucking amazing, man, and I can't wait to get out to these fights and stuff. Listen, guys, eventually there might come a time that Naoya Inoue might come to America, and we gotta get your boy out there, man. We gotta get me to that fight because I will bring that microphone to him and be like, "Yo, Armando said this, and Bam Bam Boogie said this." You know what I mean? And I would love that. I want to really chase my dream and meet some of these fighters. There are a few fighters I would love to meet in person. I'm not gonna say it because, and then it might not happen, right? I'm not gonna throw it out, but maybe it's a possibility. I might meet one of my favorite fighters because he's like at a lot of these events and shit. So and he's still alive, so um, hopefully, I would really like to, meet some of these guys and shit. Like I've met a lot of boxers in my days, a lot. I met a lot but through my dad. My dad always took me to Atlantic City and shit. My dad was a ranked number 6. He was a fighter. I show you guys my dad, right? Earlier, way earlier in my stream and shit. All my supporters been around with me. They know. Like like my dad and shit, when you got one of these photos and shit, you was in there. Huh? Check him out. He got the real, check out the stash, the mustache, right? When you got one of those photos, right? Look at that. Look at Pops with the stash. Huh? Yeah. It's like, hey, mamita, how you doing, chula? Huh? Huh? Yeah, he's doing his thing out there in PR. Yeah. So I met a lot of people through him. He knew a lot of old timers. He knew Bob Arum personally. He knew like Don King and all them dudes, a lot of them old dudes and shit. My dad like knew them all. Yeah, like him. He knew a lot of people. Yeah, he passed away though. Yeah, and that's why a part of me does this right here. All the shit he used to talk to me about, it comes flooding in my head. I'm like, shit, I do know more. you know, And I was a fox. I was a boxer. I was a fighter. I won my golden gloves. I was undefeated in the ring. I never lost in the ring. I think at one point I was supposed to try out for the 92 Barcelona Olympics. I was supposed to try out for the tryouts. I never made it. My life took a different turn for the worse. And my career was over, you know? And I never could fight again. I could fight. Like there ain't nothing physically wrong with me. It just my career. I chose. I guess right now, looking back at it, I can have nobody to blame but myself. I made bad decisions. Yeah, but unfortunately, life has a way of. You have a way of getting another opportunity in life and reinventing yourself. I learned later in life that I could dust myself off. Maybe I can't fight in the ring. Maybe I got too old now, right? But there's another way to meet my favorite fighter. There's another way to be involved with boxing. And there was just another way. And I saw this. And a door opened. I talked to you guys about that. And I wasn't afraid to walk through. It gets kind of nervous when I get up here live and I be talking to you guys and shit about boxing and everything. You guys think this shit is easy? Every day talking about shit, and it's not, but since it's natural for me, it comes easy a little. I'm talking about something I'm passionate about. I guess maybe it's my personality. I have no idea. But you know what I mean? I do my best. You know what I'm saying? And this is how I want to give back. My way of giving back to the sport. Cover the sport, talk to these guys, really ask the questions. When I get my opportunity, I'm gonna ask the questions that we want to ask. I'm not really there to kiss anybody's ass. I'm gonna tell you that right now. There ain't no boxer in the world that's just gonna be like, I'll be happy to interview him. I'll always show him respect. But if I don't get an interview, I don't give a fuck. I don't like if you don't want to come on my show because I'm not kissing your ass, then I ain't kissing your fucking ass. I don't give a fuck. But if I can, I will always show and bring the fighters that come on, as long as we keeping it real. And I don't mind talking about what's on paper. You know why? Because that's what's real. All that fantasy island, all that coming on, getting one guy talking about another dude, that happens all the time. You know what I mean? But when I get my chance, my opportunity to shine, you'll see how I bring it to him. to these fighters. You'll see. Serious, straightforward, real questions, hard-nosed questions. You know what I mean? Never disrespectful to the fighters, you know? But when I get my chance, you'll see. He gave away the 12th round. Yeah. You can't blame Henny. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. When you're gonna beat a champion, we all know this going into the fight. We all know this. Whenever they say the fight is close, they're gonna give it to the champion. They're gonna give him the champion's nod. So if the fight is that close, expect it to go the champion's way. We know this going into a fight. But then when it happens, some people are outraged because Loma wasn't awarded that fight against Devin Haney. But he wasn't just fighting a guy for one belt. He was fighting a guy for four belts. That's why I don't think they gave it to Loma. Because although Loma did good against Devin Haney, you got to admit, when the final bell rung, no one really knew who won that fight. Half the audience thought Loma won, and half the audience thought Devin Haney won. And that's the truth. The fight was too close. And at the end of the day, if we're fighting for one belt and you don't definitively beat me, they're going to give it to me. Imagine what they're going to do if you're fighting a guy for four belts and you don't definitively beat him. They're going to give it to the guy with the four belts. So, you see? You seen hundreds of fight, Miller? He did. Look at had if Loma fought that 12th round against Devin Haney, right? Like Teofimo fought him. When Teofimo Lopez beat Lomachenko for those belts, Teofimo Lopez bit down on the mouthpiece in the 11th, 12th round. And he stood his ground against Loma that, mind you, Teofimo Lopez won the first half of the fight. Loma came on strong in the second half of the fight after the sixth round. Loma won those rounds. But when it came to the championship rounds, Teofimo Lopez stood there and fought Loma. And he backed him up and he hit him with the bigger shots. He didn't shy away. That's how you fight championship fights. Loma needed to do that against Devin Haney. He really needed to solidify it. Okay? For instance, Francis Ngannou and Tyson Fury fought. Francis Ngannou dropped him. Had Francis Ngannou bit down on the mouthpiece and just threw one fucking combination, one four-piece combination, and at least landed a shot on Tyson Fury, he would have been the heavyweight champion of the world. Because when I went back and I watched that fight, yeah, it was close, closer than what I thought. Yeah, and Francis Ngannou did lose a lot of those middle rounds, and Tyson was winning the later rounds. Yes, yes, and I felt it was so close. Had Francis Ngannou fought that 12th round strong, he becomes the champion. He beats Tyson Fury. Yeah, but yeah, Loma needed to do that. So like Loma wanted according to Loma, his dream is to unify all four belts. So Devin Haney moves up. So he sees his opportunity for the WBC. And he's going to fight George Camboza, right? I mean, not the WBC. I'm sorry. The WBC, Shakur Stevenson has. I'm sorry. He's going to go out there and fight for the WBA, the IBF, one of them, right? Because, no. It can't be the WBA because Tank Davis has the WBA. So he's fighting for the IBF. He's fighting for the IBF because the WBO is at 135. Tank got the WBA. Shakur got the WBC. He's fighting for the IBF. Yeah, okay. All right. So once he gets that belt, has anybody heard anything about Shakur Stevenson? Him retiring because he didn't get the fight from Bob Arum. Well, his contract is done now. So I don't think Bob Arum is re-signing Shakur Stevenson. Yeah. I think Shakur Stevenson's gonna re-sign or go with the PBC. Yeah, he might, which is the worst move he can do. You might think to go with your own race or the brothers over there at PBC might be good for you. But to tell you the truth, why do you think Terrence Crawford signed back with Top Rank? Now, mind you, Terrence Crawford was accusing Bob Arum of being racially biased towards his fights. And Bob Arum has gone on social media and said he lost money at Terrence Crawford's fights, which was bullshit. Okay? What that was a boxer trying to tell the promoter what to do. And Bob Arum doesn't take too kind to that sometimes. And he can be a dick. So I don't know what the fuck Bob Arum was doing, but I would have tried to do everything to keep Terrence Crawford in my stable. I would have did everything for him. But whatever pissing contest they got into, apparently Bob Arum doesn't like to be. But check this out. The moral to the story is Terrence Crawford was suing him in court, dropped the lawsuit, got out of his contract with Top Bob Arum and Top Rank. His contract was up. Called him publicly a racist, right? And then 2 months later, he signed back with Top Rank and Bob Arum. After all that, he didn't owe them nothing. He was out of his contract. And after all that shit, he went right back and signed with them. Why do you think he did that? Where else are you going to go? Where are you going to go? To Ed Hearn? You going to fight in Europe? Because Ed Hearn was only promoting out there. What are you going to do? Go with Don King? Or what was Terrence Crawford going to do? Go with the PBC? He knew that wasn't going to work. He had nowhere else to go. And Terrence Crawford didn't have that kind of money to be his own promotional company. You know how this shit works, right? Top Rank. In order to turn on the lights in Madison Square Garden, to turn on the lights, it costs about $100,000, right? To pay all the concession stands, the workers, right? Your promotional company got to come up with all this money. So Bob Arum also has to pay your fighter up front. If he tells them, I'll give you $1.3 million to fight my guy, Bob Arum got to go in his pocket, give him $1.3 million. And he has to pay for Madison Square Garden. He has to pay for your plane ticket, your hotel, your friends, your coach. He has to buy them all rooms. You guys going to eat, right? All that money that you're spending, that comes off your purse, right? So there was nowhere else to go, and Terrence Crawford saw that. And even with all that bullshit, bro, he turned right around and signed with Bob Arum again. And then he got out of his contract the second time, and now he Terrence Crawford's kind of like doing it, his own promotional type thing, like Devin Haney is type thing, right? But there was really nowhere to go. And when a lot of fighters were signing to PBC and Mayweather wasn't getting anybody any fights. That kid, Camille Moulton, his last fighter he got, Mayweather might lose him. Mayweather's not in the game. He's not a promoter, man. He's too busy running around, living his life, spending his money, fucking his whores. Like, he's not about getting in a room negotiating, you know? You know what Mayweather is darkest secret? And what I truly believe that stops him at a lot of things in life, that for some reason, he doesn't embrace it. I don't know that he can't read and write. So promotional and all those legal papers might fuck with him. I don't know how he feels, but don't you got enough money to pay some person to read for you? You can stand right there and fucking read what that shit says. That shit would never stop me. So I don't know, man. Mayweather just he didn't have any fighters, and then you heard that kid come on and talk about Mayweather. He was signed with Mayweather in the PBC and Mayweather, and all his fights he got on his own. And but Mayweather didn't, fight against him when he told Mayweather, "Hey, I got this fight to fight on the undercard. Can I?" And Mayweather, "Yeah, go ahead." But Mayweather never got him a fight since he was signed. All 4 or 5 of his fights he got on his own. What the fuck do you need the promoter for? If you're the one booking your own fights, scheduling your own fights. Yeah, and Leonard Ellaby, I hear his health ain't at the best. And Louis the Cubist is supposed to be taking over, rumored for him, which is surprisingly, because I didn't think it would be him. I thought it would be the other guy. But I don't know. But anyway, fight fans, listen, guys, we've been chopping it up for way too long. Way too long. Right? But I had an awesome time. I had a lot to get off my chest today. I had nothing to do. So ESPN used to have a boxing show every weekend called Tuesday Night Fights. Yes, they want to bring the Tuesday Night Fights back. Yeah. And sometimes they used to be at the Blue Ha- Hazen. I used to watch it because of that up and coming Puerto Rican fighter from Philly. Um, Floyd? They call him Floyd from Philly. His mother named the little dude Philly. He's a Puerto Rican fighter. They call him Money. His name is Money Floyd or something. Are you talking about him? Yeah, 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 right there. The real promoter, yeah. Yeah, I remember the Friday night fights, Miller. I remember I used to watch the Friday night fights all the time. Yeah, there was some nice top prospects coming in through there, and you can get a good name off them fights. I used to love the Tuesday night fights and the Friday night fights. At least we were watching boxing, damn it. And we had something every weekend to watch, and sometimes you get a gem fight, every now and then you get one of them fights, and they were great. It was sad to see Showtime go. I come from an era where we were watching HBO, really showing my age, right? Believe it or not, Naoya Inoue fought on HBO. Yeah. So and then that left, and then Showtime left, and now a lot of new Prime is coming, and from what I heard, they're gonna start bringing back Tuesday night fights and shit, Friday night fights type shit. I'm not really sure what day. Fuck around, it'll be Thursday night fights. you know, you know. Oh, they would be awesome if they came back. The fights, they would be fucking awesome. We'd be watching fucking fights. Nowadays with all these streaming shit, they want to fucking charge you for every goddamn channel. They just idiots. But anyway, fight fans, listen, I had an amazing show. I want to thank everyone that's been in the live stream. I want to thank all of you guys. Yo, an amazing show. Hey, yo, Bam Bam Boogie. Listen, he's a new sheriff in town, Armando. Um, with great power comes great responsibility. Remember that. All right. You guys have been loyal. Listen, I love you guys. Take care, you guys. Be good to you guys. I'll see you on the next one after this one here at Round One Sports Talk. Peace.